pas besoin philosophe, ouais. N'a pas vivre, non, un moment côté tout mon père. Mon coque sous tout ça, y'a quoi? Qui qu'a fait oublier, même si depuis moi sous la terre, déjà fixé en l'air, parce que avant longtemps nous pas monter, avant longtemps nous pas aller, avant longtemps nous pas monter, avant longtemps nous pas aller, avant longtemps nous pas monter, avant longtemps nous pas aller, avant longtemps nous pas monter, avant longtemps nous pas aller. Gagne un jour, contingent pour jeune à rencontrer. Axé là, qui t'a gain pouvoir pour l'y créer. Trompette là va sonner, et tout le monde va connaître. Jour délivrance, l'arrivée, pour ça qui sauver. Oh, oh, oh. Avant longtemps, nous pas monter.
Chers frères et sœurs et amis dans le Seigneur, chers téléspectateurs, les compagnons de ministère, que la grâce et la paix de Dieu vous soient multipliées. Je suis pasteur Raymon Benjamin qui vous souhaite la plus cordiale bienvenue sur émission Koneksyon Plus. Émission Koneksyon Plus est une émission d'éducation, d'adoration et de louange qui nous aide à nous connecter avec le Seigneur, qui nous a nous connecter avec notre église locale, avec les membres de notre famille, avec notre carrière professionnelle et avec nous autres. Merci. Merci de ce que vous prenez temps ça pour assister nous, pour recevoir nous la caillou, dans kitchen nous, dans chambre, dans salon. Ça fait nous plaisir en pile. Merci à vous-même qui déjà subscribe, like and share. Et vous-même qui pouvez faire les assoya. C'est une opportunité pour faire les pour aider nous grandir cette famille Koneksyon Plus. Merci encore une fois d'être ce que vous prenez temps ça pour camper des téléphones, des screens, des télévisions, pour tendre, pratiquer pour venir garder et Koneksyon Plus. Merci. Et à Soya, nous gagnons honneur, n'est-ce pas, pour nous présenter un sujet d'importance. Et en pile fois, si nous fait born and raised in America, ou bien ils viennent tout petit en Amérique, mais ils ne pas profiter de privilèges ça lorsqu'on vient dans le pays ça. Ils ne pas connaître qui sacrifice papa yo, maman yo, et fait puis on mène yo là. Que Dieu soit joui un privilège, mais sans pour autant pas connaître qui effort qui fait qui met yo là. Il y a un pile qui pas à l'école, mais qui reviennent dans l'école qui campait, mais il y a un jeune garçon, jeune fille, qui t'a remis en place, et qui va avoir un tel privilège. Et c'est de ça que nous allons parler avec Assoya. D'abord, nous avons deux professionnels, et ce sont des Haïtiens, petits Haïtiens et Haïtiens, mais ils pas tout fait différent. Ils viennent dans le pays, ils ont des gens, il y a l'école, et ils viennent des professionnels dans le pays. Nous voulons parler bien sûr de qui? De notre bien-aimé frère Robinson Harrisel, qui c'est un mental health counseling et family counseling, qui a deux masters dans la question mental health et family counseling. Donc, c'est un jeune garçon qui est venu aux États-Unis, qui fait un bon choix pour aller à l'école et aujourd'hui, elle a desservi non seulement la communauté haïtienne, mais aussi toute leur communauté parce que connaissance pas de barrière. Bonsoir, Frère Robinson.
Bonsoir, pasteur, et c'est un plaisir d'avoir la connexion plus.
Tout à fait.
It's always a pleasure to be back here.
Welcome back here.
Definitely.
All right, all right. I have here tonight my brother, my friend. I can say my son, Mr. FLADIMIR CELUNICE. Mr. FLADIMIR CELUNICE is born and raised in America. He went to school. He is a lawyer. He actually is an assistant state attorney's office. He's a lawyer. He's here tonight on Koneksyon Plus to talk about his journey, what he has done in his life, how he get here. Et nous avons un pile pour nous présenter à Soya, bien-aimé frère Vladimir CELUNICE. Il est un avocat, il est un prosécuteur et il est petit haïtien qui fait et grandit aux États-Unis qu'à l'école et qui aujourd'hui il est un avocat. Donc c'est ça pour te venir encourager nous sur plateforme ça Soya, comment parents comment les mêmes ils embrasser et privilège de devenir un avocat, un jeune avocat, un jeune garçon professionnel là. Bienvenue Mr. Vladimir. Welcome to our platform to Koneksyon Plus.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely.
And I'm happy that you chose me to kind of tell you my story, my journey, and kind of shed some light on being a first generation Haitian American.
Well, thank you. I'm not the host tonight, just so you know. Bud Robinson is the host tonight. I'm just the guest tonight. Welcome, Bud Robinson. I'm feel honored. I'm honored to have you as a guest tonight, the main guy tonight to introduce Mr. Vladimir and myself. Welcome to Koneksyon, please.
Thank you, Pastor Benjamin. Well, I look at me as co-host. And so, okay, so you're already into the stores.
Absolutely.
All right, very good. I'd like to first and foremost thank our family, Koneksyon Plus. We understand that without them, we're not going to be here because everything that we do as far as the subjects that we talk about every week, it is because of them. Now I'm very excited about today's show.
What happened?
But before I go into the subject, I'd like to take the time to thank my brother here, Mr. CELUNICE.
Yes, sir.
I know it's not easy, to make this type of commitments, and thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here. Believe me, we do not take that for granted. We do not take that lightly at Koneksyon Plus. So today's topic, again, I'm very excited about it. Number one, we have a young, vibrant, successful individual here who represents us and the Haitian community very well. And I'm very pleased because of that. So we're going to be talking about the importance of highlighting the struggles that our parents or grandparents went through to come to the U.S., the sacrifices that they had to endure to come here or to adjust here. But it's not just to come, but it's also to transition, to assimilate, in your culture. So that's not an easy task. And our parents had to endure these sacrifices so that we can be better. And so we want to be able to use that to better ourselves. And that's the goal tonight. But before we go any further, I'd like you guys to keep two terms in mind as backdrop, because that's what we're going to be pretty much talking about. Number one is immigrant. What is an immigrant? An immigrant is someone who comes to live in a country permanently. So if someone comes here as a tourist, has a visa, that person is not considered an immigrant. You have to actually want to come here permanently to be an immigrant. And the other term is chain migration. Chain migration is a process by which immigrants from a particular area follow others from that area to a particular destination. So that's what we're seeing here with a lot of influx of Haitians coming here to reunify with their families. So that's the process. There's a legal process that we're familiar with. And you know, when we come here, we can file for our kids, for our family to come here. So that's what we call chain migration. So I'd like to, instead of, I don't normally like doing that myself, but I realize that it's very important to do, to introduce yourself, because nobody knows you better than you. So I'm gonna give my guest speaker today the opportunity to introduce himself, so that we can learn a little more about himself. Okay, good.
Thanks for having me again. I really appreciate you guys choosing me to be out here to represent, once again, the first generation Haitians. My name is FLADIMIR CELUNICE. It's a bit of a mouthful, but that's the name my parents chose. Both my parents are Haitians, so that makes me Haitian. If you couldn't tell by the name, I'm sure you can tell by some of my features. My father is from Port-au-Prince, Haiti, Guadeloupe. My mom is from Port-au-Prince. She's since passed. She passed away in 2020. But I would say a little bit of what you talked about. I would say that I'm a byproduct of the chain migration. I was born here in the States in '91, so I'm not, I wouldn't say I'm too young. So I'm 32 as of last year. But I want to say at a very early age, it was instilled in me that that I'm Haitian. I'm Haitian first. Fortunately, I was born here, and I have the opportunity to take advantage of what that means as far as being an American. So some doors are open to me that wouldn't be open otherwise. But I would say my journey starts all the way in Haiti. Even though I was born here, my parents had to get here first for me to be born here. My parents actually, they didn't meet in Haiti. They met here. I want to say they both migrated to America around the 80s, so around the same time. And they chose to come to South Florida. A lot of Haitians came into South Florida around the 80s. But if I want to start first with my mother, her name was Ivana Frederick. As mentioned, she's from Port-au-Prince, Haiti. Before coming to America, she actually went to the Bahamas. So a lot of Haitians, they take detours. I'm sure you know this. They take detours now. Some of them to Mexico, some of them to I think Guadeloupe, Chile.
Brazil.
So she took a detour. My mom was very big on education. She was an OBGYN in Haiti, and so she instilled that in us as well. But my mom's journey started in the Bahamas first. My grandma, her mother, was in the Bahamas. So around in the late 80s, early to late 80s, I want to say in Haiti, the powers that be was Duvalier, is that correct? So the way my mom explains it to me is it wasn't the best time for her it wasn't the best time for her to be there. And I'm sure she wasn't the only one that felt that way about Haiti at the time. So she went to the Bahamas to be with my grandmother. And there she had children there. I wasn't born yet, obviously. And then she came to the States and she met my father. And if I backtrack and go back to now my dad's journey, my dad, as mentioned earlier, he's from Port-au-Prince, Haiti. He came here in the 80s as well. And it was kind of, it was a collective effort. It was his mom, his, aunts, uncles who kind of came together and got him to come to America. He was about 24 when he came to America, and he just the way he explains it is it was tough coming into the country, not knowing the language. He was in South Florida, and during that time, there was an influx of Haitian immigrants coming in to America, to South Florida at the time, and they experienced some discrimination. Funny, the discrimination they received was by blacks, Black Americans. I think the sentiment was they were maybe taking jobs from them or different opportunities from them. So he experienced some discrimination when he got here, my mom as well. And then he moved further north, so from Miami to Broward to Palm Beach, and he met my mom. They were together, and I came about in 1991. And as mentioned earlier, I want to say that it was instilled in me that I'm Haitian first. So we grew up listening to Haitian music in the home, of course, eating Haitian food. I'm quick to go for Haitian food before I go for anything else like pizza or McDonald's or anything like that. I think it's more fulfilling, more nutritional, but it's my opinion. And just the culture, I was wrapped up in the culture that really made me appreciate my Haitian heritage. And I never really understood fully my Haitian heritage. For instance, they didn't explain the Haitian Revolution to me. They didn't explain how Haitians even came to the island of Haiti. They didn't explain the struggles of French and Spanish, that struggle that is now the struggle of the Haiti and Saint-Domingue right now. So all I knew growing up was that I was Haitian and I was proud to be Haitian. And because of my background, I had to work a little harder. And I pride myself even now in working a little harder because even though these opportunities are in front of me, I have to capitalize on these opportunities. And my mom and my dad instilled in me early to capitalize on the opportunities that were in front of me because it wasn't easy to get here and to have these opportunities presented to me. So I was always pushed to pursue things at a high level because I can, because they're here.
Definitely. Well, I'd say your parents did a very good job.
Thank you.
So it's important to talk about our parents' journey. But one thing to understand is that it is because of them that we don't have to go through so much. And everyone who actually came here, if someone did not struggle for you, you're gonna struggle. And if you didn't struggle, it's because someone did in your place. So it's important to highlight that. And for me, as far as my father, who passed about 2 years ago, his biggest accomplishment, when he was alive, if you were to ask him, his biggest accomplishment was the fact that he brought 13 people to the U.S. at one time. All right, and not only did he bring us here, but then he prepared for us. We had already bought a house, and we never had to rent. We always lived in a house. I mean, because of that, I was able to go to school because I didn't have to pay a lot of bills. So it's very important to highlight that, and we also have to understand that what these people went through, in the past, in the early 90s, 80s, uh, these people, they used to refer to them as boat people, you know, they used to endure a lot of abuse at the hands of, what you said, Black American. Um, so they had to weather that storm,
Yeah.
and um, and because of that, now we accomplished. We have a lot of young American Haitians, like yourself, lawyers, doctors, nurses, and so we have a better representation, in the culture. So that's because of them. So we owe our accomplishment, to them, after God, for sure. Um, now, unfortunately, although a lot of us talk about, a parent's journey, we understand what they had to go through. But what I'm seeing, there's a lack of, understanding on the part of some Haitian Americans. Because of that, they take it for granted. Just being in the United States, having the opportunity to be here, a lot of people believe it is the greatest country on earth. So they take it for granted, and because of that, they're not doing much. Um, so talk to the young Haitian Americans who take living in the U.S. for granted. What would you say to these people?
So I have direct experience in that topic. I have younger siblings, more notably younger brothers. My dad is 62 right now. My youngest brother, he's 17. I have another one who's 20. So that being said, my dad at that age, he doesn't have the same energy or gusto that he had when he was rearing me. So I kind of step into that place for him because obviously I want good things for my younger brothers. And there's been times along the path, I want to say, of trying to make sure they're doing the right things, where I've had conversations with them that kind of speaks to this topic here, where I'm explaining to them that they could have easily been born in Haiti. They didn't have to be here in America. And I kind of highlight that for them because I tell them, just turn on the television or go to YouTube and look at what's going on in Haiti right now. There's a lot going on in Haiti right now. Kids their age can't go to school right now. Well, let's start there. To even go to school in Haiti, there's no such thing as public schools. You're paying. There's private schools. You're paying to go to Haiti, and some parents have to make the decision early on to say, this kid can go, this kid can't, and we're not dealing with that here in America. In fact, it's against the law for your kid not to go to school. It's truancy here in America. So if you start there, especially building a society, you want to educate your society first. You want to educate the citizens. And I think that's a principal component of being here in America is education is free. It's free all the way up to college. You get your bachelor's degree for free if you apply yourself. And I'm not talking just like a community college. There's a Bright Future Scholarship. If you apply yourself, you can go to a major university for free. So those kind of opportunities are here in this country. And I can't speak to in details if those opportunities are in Haiti, but based on what I've heard, based on what I've seen, I don't think those. I think those opportunities are few far in between in Haiti. So I think that it is taken for granted that you can walk into your home and flip a light switch and the light comes on, or you can head to the faucet and all you have to do is turn it to the left and you have hot water. I think we do take those little necessities for granted, and on a higher note, on bigger issues, we take the opportunity for education. We take that for granted as well. Our parents struggling to get here is not highlighted enough. Sure, my mom or my dad, they've explained to me the journey, but you don't know the journey until unless you're there.
Yeah.
So my mom, when she went to Bahamas, she took a boat to Bahamas. So we're talking about on the open water, and it's probably like a little tugboat or something like that on the open water to go to the Bahamas. So she's risking her life for the opportunity, and it was just to go to the Bahamas. It wasn't even to go to America yet. Fortunately, when she was in the Bahamas, she got the opportunity to come to America with paperwork, with her visa, things of that nature. But I think the reason why first generation Haitians, or even second generation Haitian Americans like myself, take being in America for granted is because of ignorance. They just don't know. Yeah. Fortunately for me, I've gone beyond what my parents have told me about the country, and I've had the chance to read up on some of Haiti's history, and I've gotten a chance to talk to different people to really explain to me in depth what it's like being in Haiti. And even that doesn't really tell you in all aspects what it's like being in Haiti. But just based on what they've told me, I appreciate being here. And I don't think people in my position or the second generation Haitians have had that or have come to that realization that it's a true blessing to be here.
Yeah, definitely. While you're talking, what comes to mind, I feel like parents should be doing a better job, starting with myself as a parent, educating the children, about, the struggles that people in Haiti go through. Now, one of the things that I sometimes do with my kids, they'll say to me, okay, Dad, I'm hungry. And I'll tell them, what if imagine I don't have any food to give you. What if I don't have any food to give you? How would you feel? And they seem very perplexed. And I'll tell them, you know what? That's the reality of a lot of kids in Haiti right now. So obviously, it may not be enough, but that's just, something, for them to think about, and there's more that we can do to educate them, because I feel like you mentioned, they don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know. They think that it was supposed to be this way. No,
Yeah.
I mean, I always look at it this way, whenever one of my friends, would call me from Haiti and ask me for something.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why I'm always motivated to make sure that I pretty much give them what they ask is because I feel like, it could have been me.
Yeah.
The only reason that it's not me, number one, it's God. Secondly,
Yeah.
it's because my dad came here. That's
Yeah.
that's the only difference. So, again, it's important, to talk to the kids, about the importance of understanding, where they came from and what it could have been, had they been in Haiti. So that's important. Now, another question or comment, and you can comment on that too. And again, these are the things that I see in my practice, talking to, family members, other people. You see a lot of young people talking down on their parents. because of they feel like their parents are not, educated. A lot of them, I know some kids who, I mean, it's sad to say, who are ashamed of their parents. If they are with their friends, hanging out with their friends, and their parents are passing by, they ignore their parents, because you know what, she or he doesn't speak English, you can't talk to my friend, I don't want my friends to see my parents like that. And to me, it's pure ignorance. So what would you say to these kids who feel that way about their parents?
So I would start first with saying that I think it's not just a Haitian thing. I want to say that a lot of times kids are just, for some reason, embarrassed by their parents. For whatever reason, it might be that their mom or dad are overprotective, or that their mom and dad is very comfortable in their skin and don't mind walking around without any shirt, with like a hairy chest or something like that. Kids, for some reason, are automatically dispositioned to be kind of embarrassed at their parents. But if I'm speaking to Haitian kids specifically, I would say there is a lack of grace there, where my parents, they never spoke the best English, but I wouldn't say growing up, but that's just for me. I wouldn't say growing up I was completely embarrassed by them, but some instances, yes, they were embarrassing. But I understood that the reason why my mom or dad didn't speak English as well as I did is because it's not their first language. I was born here. I better speak some English. And another aspect of that is they didn't have time to go to night school or school to learn the language. They were taking care of me. They had a job. So it's just understanding that and having grace for that. And in retrospect, if I flip it, I can barely speak Creole. So imagine if I went to Haiti, would they be embarrassed at my Creole? So it's just looking at it from not from an outside perspective, but just backing up and then putting yourself in that position. I don't think that we do it enough. And as far as the embarrassment, I think if they were to take a step back and kind of really look at why am I embarrassed? What is it that I'm embarrassed about? And if it is something like the language barrier, then they can go back to some of the things that I just mentioned, it not being their first language, or them not having the time to learn the language because they were taking care of us, So yeah, I think that's really important.
And what I will add to that, when you come here at a certain age, you can speak the language, but you will never be able to, like, for example, my father came here at the age of 42. And when now it's different now. You see a lot of people living in Haiti learning English. So these people, when they come here, they already have a head start. Yeah. But in the 80s and 90s, people didn't speak English at all in Haiti. So when my dad came here at the age of 42, now, even though he would start to go to school, but then as soon as he found a job that is in conflict with his school, then he had to give up going to school because he has a family to take care of.
Exactly.
So, and my mom came here at 47 years old, and my mom always, told me a story where she was in school, and a lot of people was blaming her mother because, she was the eldest child, and now she's not into, commerce, but now she's in school, So, that was the belief, at the time. You know, now, you know, if my mother did not have a higher education, there's a reason for it, you know. So things like that we need to really understand, you know, and a lot of times, you know, we have to we have to remember that it is because of us. You know, if they didn't have to take care of us, even though they would never be able to speak the language, you know, well or be fluent in the language, but they'll be better. You know, so it's very important that you know we you know understand that, and I thank you for your input on that. That means a lot. All right. Well, I think at this point we're going to take a commercial break. Okay. You know, stay put, and we'll be right back.
Moi, c'est Jean-Enoch Bruni, pasteur de la première église de Dieu de West Palm Beach, First Haitian Church of God of West Palm Beach. Lèm la kay moi chaque jeudi et chaque vendredi, commence 8h pour 9h dans la soirée, c'est Koneksyon Plus moi branché. Moi recommandé fortement pour capable brancher tout Koneksyon Plus avec pasteur Benjamin chaque jeudi et chaque vendredi, sorti 8h pour arriver 9h. Que bon Dieu bénisse.
Non, moi, c'est Nicole Alexis. Moi, sorti New York. Chaque jeudi, chaque vendredi à 8h, 9h, moi branché Koneksyon Plus. Koneksyon Plus, c'est moi-même, c'est vous-même, c'est lui-même, c'est nous tous.
Moi-même, Césaire, depuis jeudi, vendredi, 8h arrivé, je vais faire l'autre bagaille que garder Koneksyon Plus. C'est chita pour me garder pasteur Benjamin. Koneksyon Plus.
Êtes-vous un propriétaire d'entreprise qui fait partie de notre communauté haïtienne dynamique en Floride et dans les Caraïbes? Si tel est le cas, vous avez probablement remarqué à quel point la vidéo devient importante en matière de marketing, de vente et de capture de souvenirs. En fait, l'utilisation de la vidéo est récemment devenue une attente des clients dans le monde entier. Et que vous le sachiez ou non, vous avez une histoire inspirante mais non contée. Votre point de vue unique sur le travail, la vie et tout le reste. Mais avec tout le monde qui crée du contenu en ligne maintenant, il est presque impossible de se démarquer. C'est pourquoi vous avez besoin de Lens Magic de Kajou TV, des services de production vidéo auxquels vous pouvez faire confiance. Des courts et longs films, des émissions de télévision aux événements en direct, au contenu des médias sociaux, aux occasions spéciales, quels que soient vos besoins vidéo, aucun projet n'est trop grand ou petit. Lens Magic utilise uniquement les dernières technologies et équipements pour ravir nos clients à chaque fois. Notre excellente réputation au sein de la communauté est basée sur d'innombrables projets réussis, réalisés au cours des 20 dernières années dans toute la Floride, Haïti et les Caraïbes. Et en plus, nos forfaits flexibles garantissent aux clients la meilleure qualité à des prix abordables. Alors qu'est-ce que vous attendez? Visitez kajoutv.tv et découvrez comment vous pouvez utiliser la vidéo pour mieux raconter vos histoires.
Well, welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you again for being with us. We take that very seriously. Now, along those lines of what we've already talked about, you know, kids not, you know, taking living in the United States seriously. What I also see is that they failed to give back, you know, because we talk about them forgetting where they came from. So because of that, they don't really give back to the previous generation. Now, we talked about the fact that the reason why they can, you know, have, you know, for example, the reason why you can, you know, go to law school and become a lawyer is because you had some support from your family who had endured a lot, you know, for you. You know, now, if you forget that, then you're not gonna give back, and that's what we're seeing with a lot of, you know, young, you know, Haitian Americans. They, you know, forget where they come from, and now they don't give back to the previous generation. What would you say to that?
I would say I would go back to our previous conversation, as mentioned. Us to be in these positions, we were standing on the shoulders of giants, is what they was call that phrase. So there was a lot of things that was done for us so that we didn't have to do, so that we can focus on other things. And I think it's being able to reflect, being able to really sit down and look at how things came to be, how you came to be where you are. Certainly there's a lot of work. Me and you put a lot of effort, put a lot of work into it, but the reason we were able to do that is because certain responsibilities for us were freed up. So we were able to dive into and focus in our area of practice. And I think it's just being able to reflect on that and being able to understand that no matter how much work you put into something, someone gave you your starting point. Someone opened certain doors for you. Just for the simple fact that I'm Haitian and I'm pursuing certain things that I'm pursuing, certain doors are open for me because they're looking for me to fill certain gaps. They're looking for me to fill certain diversity gaps. So I think taking those things into mind will help you give back to those people, give back to the places where you come from. I think as well, the way Haiti is depicted in the media, the way it's depicted sometimes from our own people, it kind of gives you a sense of dread. It kind of gives you a sense of hopelessness. And no one wants to root for the losing team. Everybody wants to root for the winning team. So looking at all those things, we had I don't want to get too political, but we had a former leader of the country refer to the country as a, expletive, I don't want to, kind of country. Mm-hmm. So if you have young Haitian Americans watching something like that and their peers watching something like that, hearing these kind of things, and then along with the images that we're seeing now and some of the images that we've been seeing forever, it kind of gives you a hopelessness for the country. And they won't want to give back is basically what I'm saying. But I think me at the age of 32 and a lot of other professionals within that age gap or age range, we are supposed to fill the gap. We're supposed to be the mediators. So we're in between the second generation Haitians and we're in between, our parents, grandparents. So we're supposed to
call that sandwich generation.
We're supposed to spark that.
Exactly.
We're as the meat of that sandwich. We're supposed to spark that interest. We're supposed to make them interested in, in the country. We're supposed to make them proud of being Haitian, not just proud because of some of the newer things, some of the trends about being Haitian, but being proud about Haitian being the first free Black republic, being proud about that, being proud about Haiti doing something that no other Black country has ever done, highlighting some of those things to overshadow the negative light that's placed on Haiti. I think once that happens, people like me, we won't be afraid to invest in the country. I know a lot of us, we are heirs to a bunch of land in Haiti, houses in Haiti, and it would hurt my dad's heart if I said, hey, I don't want none of that stuff, because that's what he worked his butt off for that stuff. And I think us having an interest for that stuff and understanding what's left over there for us will help us to give back to our country and invest in its progress.
Definitely, definitely. For me, and in many ways we can do that. We look at their needs and we speak to their needs. We, meet their needs as much as we can. I'm just gonna give you an example. My oldest son is 25, and I have an 11-year-old and a 9-year-old. And I commend my son for giving back. I recognize that a lot. And the way he pretty much gives back. He helps, my kids, my daughters, the 11-year-old and the 9-year-old with their homework. If we need something, he helps us. He's there for us. For one thing, he's not married, 25 years old. He still lives with us. So that's a way of giving back. So I'd like to take the time to recognize them for that. So that is just an example of how you can give back. So that's extremely important to understand for sure. All right, now we actually nearing the end of our conversation, but I still have a lot of questions for you. Now, understand that you're not easy to have, so I have to pick your brain tonight for sure. Yeah, so now let's talk about, and this is your area. I feel like, we haven't really touched your area yet, and in the time remaining, that's what we're gonna do. Now, talk to someone who's considering pursuing a law degree. Because I know, my son, for example, that's one of his things that he'd like to do. In fact, I believe he already put in some application. So talk to a young person, or not just a young person, anybody who's considering pursuing a law degree.
Okay. So I'll say off air we'll get together. I'll talk to your son and I'll kind of help him out any way I can with that.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I think it's like with anything. If you know you want to do something, the first thing you do is you research it. Okay. I know. So I played sports throughout high school, and that's what got me into college. So like most kids, I thought I was going to be a professional football player. So that's what sparked my my journey throughout education. But at some point, I started pursuing a criminal justice degree, and then at some point, law school came into the picture. So I researched it. I figured out the different steps that I need to take in order to get to where I want to go. And that's the first step. Whenever you figure out, if you want to be a plumber, you figure out, hey, what do I have to, what kind of certifications do I have to get? What kind of schools offers this type of education that I need? So I would say the first thing to do is to kind of create an outline for yourself, or a map, to kind of figure out the different steps that you have to take. If we're talking about becoming an attorney, specifically, I know the first thing that I found out is you have to get a bachelor's degree. That's the first thing, in order to be accepted into law school. But before even that, after you get your bachelor's degree, you have to take the LSAT. So the LSAT, when I took it, it was split into three parts. It was logic games, reasoning, and I think it was analytics. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I started studying those three sections of the LSAT, and of course I found out when the LSAT is administered, and I signed up for it. There's some fees that you have to pay in order to sit for the LSAT, and I just studied for the LSAT for about, I want to say, 2 months. And I took the LSAT. I actually took the LSAT 3 times. If I'm getting personal in my journey, I took the LSAT 3 times and I scored the same score. It was, I think I scored a 143. And I talked to my wife, and she kind of told me, just go ahead and apply for law school. I was shooting for a 150, but she said, go ahead and apply for law school, and I did. And during the application process, you need 3 letters of recommendation. You need a personal statement, and there's some other little things in there you need. I think there's a character and fitness. I know for sure there's one for the bar. It was so long ago. But then, obviously, there's a selection process. you get selected into law school, and then whole nother beast. Law school is a whole nother beast. The first year in particular is very challenging because law school is not like any other. It's not like any other. I want to say school or professional school. It's difficult. It is very difficult, but if you, just like anything, if you're persistent and you're consistent, you'll get over it. You'll meet all your requirements for law school, and you'll get your Juris Doctorate. And then you have a whole nother obstacle, which is the bar. Some people's journeys stop at the bar. Some people stop at some of the other things I mentioned, but some people stop at the bar. And sometimes they're just content with having the Juris Doctorate because the bar exam is very hard, and it's almost stacked against you the way that thing is administered. And you gotta study your butt off. I know I studied for 2 months straight, 12-hour days, sometimes more than 12 hours. Just dedication and sacrifice, and you'll get to wherever you're going.
Wow. Thank you for that thorough explanation of how to get into law school. But I'd like to pick back on something you said. You said you talked to your wife. So I'm assuming you were already married when you pursued. So that made it
even more
extremely challenging, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So same here. When I had my bachelor's degree, at that time I wasn't married. For some reason I felt like I believed, I didn't know what marriage was about, but then I believed that I couldn't be married and pursue school. So I had my bachelor's degree before I got married, and I didn't envision pursuing a master's degree. But then when I realized that the bachelor's degree wasn't doing it for me, so that's when I went back to have a master's. But at that time, I was already married. So I'm glad you mentioned that. I felt like earlier when we started talking about yourself, but you really talk about your parents. And I can and that's what I said. It's hard to talk about yourself. So you talked about your parents. I felt like you being a lawyer was not too pronounced, but in your last intervention, you did that. So that's good. So everybody understands that you're a lawyer, accomplished lawyer, I might add. Wow, the time is our enemy right now. So let's continue our conversation. First of all, I really enjoyed the conversation. I wish we had you for more time, but can you please promise us that you're gonna come back here?
I'll definitely. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna take you on that. Now, here at Koneksyon Plus or Koneksyon Plus, we really value education. We put a lot of emphasis on education, and that is at all levels. We're not just talking about being, a lawyer. We understand that everybody can be a lawyer, but we, vocational schools, technical schools, we talk about different aspects of education. Now, as someone who has a higher education, we talked about the bar that you passed, so you know how challenging school could be, and to add to that, you did it as a married person, So talk to the person who's not sure or who's ambivalent about the next step. Because one thing I know about school, if you ask someone, are you gonna go to school at some point? Very rarely you'll find someone saying no. Yeah. It's something that everybody wants to do. Everybody believes at some point they're gonna go to school.
Yeah.
I remember I used to work at a place, and at that time I used to, have my books. I was to study there, and every time someone sees you with a book, oh man, I want to go back to school.
Yeah.
So but it's really hard for them to go. All right. Now, talk about the importance of education and the importance of making, the choice to go back, in spite of whatever challenges they might be facing, understanding that it will never be the ideal situation, to go back. So what would you say to someone who's considering going back to school, talking about the importance of education?
Mine is, it's simple. My advice is simple. Just do it. And the reason why I say that is because time is your enemy, and if you look in the mirror, that's your second biggest enemy. If you tell yourself you can't do it because, I can't do it because, then you won't do it, because you got to think no one's in your head more than yourself. So if you're your number one doubter, then you're not going to get it done. I think you have to have, I've been talking about self-reflect for a lot, and that's what all of us have to do. At whatever level we're at, we always have to self-reflect. And I think that's what it calls for, is to just look at yourself and acknowledge where you're at, like in this present moment. And once that's acknowledged, then you can start to understand, what do I need to do to get to where I want to go? For me, if I'm, as a personal example, before I got into law school and I got my bachelor's, I was working. I went to a trade school. I got my HVAC certification. HVAC is AC, so I wanted to make sure that I was in the trades while I was studying for law school. So I wanted an actual job. I didn't want some regular. I wanted something that was gonna, one, pay me a little bit more money, and I wanted a trade that I can take with me. So I have that trade forever. But while I was working that trade, I was like, man, this is hard. This is tough work. I was up in attics. I was on the roof, and I understood that I can't do this. The longevity there's no longevity in this. I can't do this at 60. As a lawyer, you can. Certain professions you can, because it's not labor intensive. So having that in the back of my mind, it really pushed me. So people would tell you to find your why, like why you want to do this. So a lot of times it can't just be for yourself. It was, in this instance, it was for me. It was for my wife, and I've always wanted a family, and I've always said to myself, I want to be able to take care of my family. So those are some of the things that push me, as well as just my background and my parents, and being pushed towards education my whole life.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, one thing I realized as I watch you talk, you struck me as a therapist. Yeah, I mean, a therapist knows one when he sees it. So yeah, because you use a lot of self-reflect, things like that. So that's definitely therapeutic terms. All right. Well, again, the time is really not in our favor. At this point, I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you this question, because this is something that breaks my heart in my practice. I see a lot of teenagers, young adults, who are making poor choices, and that have legal, consequences, and for them not to understand, all these, legal consequences. Talk to these individuals, these teenagers and young adults who are already dealing with the law.
So to talk to the youth about being on the wrong side of the law, it'll impact you later. Right now, a lot of times, especially if we're talking about juveniles, the punishments aren't harsh. In fact, they don't call it punishment. It's not punitive. Like as an adult, we get time in prison, or we have to serve jail sentences. With with juveniles, they call it detention. So it's not punitive, basically, is what I'm saying. So they don't understand the full nature of what they're doing. And it's a lot of times it's because of how it's handled in the justice system. But when they get older, if I'm talking to that person right now, when you get older, that's when some of those things will start to affect you. For instance, if let's say you commit a crime at the age of 17 and you're dealt with it in the juvenile system, if you were to commit another crime when you're 18, that crime that you committed at 17, Florida has a point system. So that crime you committed at 17, it'll be considered for whatever they want to do with you for this new crime that you committed at 18. And now, like I said, you're 18, so you're considered an adult. So what happens to you will be punitive. So what you did as a juvenile in that instance, it'll have a huge impact on your sentencing now. So it's a point system. Each point is a month. So if you score like 24 points, we're already talking about 2 years. So I think it becomes a situation where young people feel like they're invincible. They feel like they can keep doing some of the things that they're doing, especially if they don't feel the full consequences of what they're doing. And what I would say to that young person is it does catch up to you. I've seen it. And when it catches up to you, a lot of times, I don't want to say it's too late, but you get to a place where it's an uphill battle, and it's really tough. And we're talking about things about securing employment, securing housing, even certain things like getting your driving privileges back. It becomes an uphill battle and almost like a slippery slope to where you're almost stuck in that system and you continue to offend. So I would just say to that young person to look ahead, look at your future, think about where you want to be in the next 5 to 10 years, because in the next 5 to 10 years, life becomes more real than it is now, and you might have someone that depends on you, and you want to be able to be there for that person, whether it's financially or just to physically be there for that person.
All right, for sure. Now, thank you for your thorough answer. All your answers are very thorough. Yeah, we appreciate that. I believe we have a question.
Yes, we have a question.
Okay. Now, if I remember correct, is this the first question we have at Koneksyon Plus?
We have many questions, but we want to answer that question online.
Okay.
Live,
All right.
live.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Yeah. Now, I don't know about answering the question, but just to point it out, just to, talk about it. It seems to me that someone wants to highlight the fact that, Haitian parents, they always want their kids to become lawyers, doctors, all these big professions, but yet they're not investing, in that accomplishment. They only, providing, the basic needs. They only meeting the kids' basic needs, and that may not be enough for them to become the lawyer and, doctors that, they want them to become. To that, that's not an answer, but that's more like a comment. I think that a lot of these parents, they don't know what it takes.
Exactly.
They don't know what it takes.
They don't.
I think that they think that it's easier than it is actually. So, I think what the kids should be doing is to educate your parents on what you have to do. Okay, it's to have a conversation with them. Yeah. Dad, you want me to become a doctor? You want me to become a lawyer? This is what I have to do. Okay, I cannot do it on my own. It has to be a family affair. I need you guys. The family has to support me. This is what we need to do. So if that's what they really want, they're going to support you. They're going to be there for you as much as they can. So I think that's the best way to approach that. Yeah.
And in addition, you want your kid to become a lawyer. You've never been at the courthouse to expose them to the lawyer, to assist to the lawyers, defender, and prosecutors, how that works. And when you want your kid to become a doctor, never been exposed to the clinic, to the hospital, point. So those things will help your kids to see how they can keep moving forward to pursue the great doctor and a lawyer.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure being here tonight.
Well, to that, that's exactly what, I have a friend of mine whose son wants to become an architect. And I was having a conversation with him. He told me he's going to Georgia to meet with an architect, so that his son can shadow him. That's and again, that has to do with education, being educated. Now, now the person, this is someone who's highly educated, who understands that if I want the best for my kids, I have to, position them, to be successful. But sometimes, it is up to the kid to have a conversation with their parents. And if they don't know, give them assignments. Well, this is what I need you to do that. If you come up with the idea of, going to a courtroom, to shadow a lawyer, let them know that's one of the things that you can do. They can facilitate that for you. All right, so I think we had it. We nailed it, and that's the way to go about it for sure. Yeah.
And as parents, to support your kids and to have a conversation with them. Because they are dealing with so many issues in school, many issues. That you need to support them, to be with them, to be there with them, to shadow them. I have my daughter, she's in university. All the time, I talk to her about school. How is school going? What is the matter? How can I help you? How can I help you?
Yeah, definitely.
Because my question, daddy, I can do this, I can do that. Okay, can you try this? Have you ever tried this before? Don't tell me you cannot make it, but have you ever tried it before? Let's do it together. Have a good conversation.
That's important.
You're not sitting down in the school, but by doing so, you are with your kids in everything they are doing.
Yeah, for sure.
To support them.
Lastly, I think it's important. I know we definitely going over time here, but I just need to ask this question because I always reserve the right to understand everything about somebody's profession, and so I'd like to give Mr. Vladimir the opportunity to talk about, some of the challenges or concerns that he sees in his profession about the Haitian community. I'm sure you're dealing with maybe some young Haitian kids, things like that.
I want to say some of the challenges. The challenges that I'm going to talk about are not, I don't want to say they're just reserved, they're not reserved to just the Haitian community. A lot of times it's what the kid is taking in. So we have the five senses, sight, smell, hear, taste, touch. And with this one, I'm specifically talking about sight and hearing. It's these devices, these things that we have in our pockets, the people that we're around. These kids are exposed to a lot more than what we were exposed to. So a lot of times growing up, my mom would say, I don't want you hanging out with this kid, or I don't want you watching this or looking at that. Now, with where we've gone with technology, they have access to all those things and it's in their pocket. Like, you can't really censor that. And they're being exposed to certain things that are leading them astray. So before I was an attorney, I was working as a juvenile officer in Orlando. So I got to see it. I was in the trenches, so I got to see these kids, and I got to see inside their head, like their way of thinking. And we're talking about kids who, because it's juvenile, so we're talking about you'll have a kid who shoplift or burglarize a car, and they're in the same place as a kid who killed someone. You know, so you're dealing with a wide range of children who committed certain offenses, and I got a chance to get at their level and really talk to them. And a lot of times they don't even know why they did what they did, or why they continue to do what they do. But I know one thing they had in common is we'd have time to where I'd give, sometimes if they were doing what they were supposed to do, I would allow them to watch a movie or listen to music or something like that. And it's resounding. The stuff that they take in, it's all violence. It's all people committing certain acts, and they're taking this stuff in. And at a certain time, obviously I'd cut it off. I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and let you listen and watch this stuff, but that's what they gravitate to. And that kind of cinema, that kind of stuff, they can't separate it from reality. And it becomes the cool thing to do. And unfortunately, that's what's kind of guiding them right now. So our parents are, that's what our parents are battling.
I feel like we only scratched the surface. Yeah. There's a lot to be said here. Well, at this point, I believe we have to conclude our time together. I'd like to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be here. And, I'm very pleased with the fact that we have a lawyer here, and, this is one of our own, so that's pretty encouraging. All right. At this point, my job is done here.
You've done a great job.
Pastor Benjamin.
Yeah. For my people. So, je dis un grand merci à Frère Benson qui font un travail extraordinaire as a host for tonight. And nous disons bon Dieu merci Frère Benson. Frère Benson c'est un professionnel dans la communauté ici haïtien et qui vient ici à 20 premières années, mais qui fait un engagement pour aller à l'école pour venir monde ko oui aujourd'hui. Succès pas arrivé au hasard. Succès va qu'on plein pour faire, ou planifier pour faire. Pas un accident dans le succès. Tout ça on veut faire pour faire un plan pour lui. So pour arriver là, il y a un plan. Il y a un choix. La vie, c'est tellement bien. Toi pour faire un choix. Il fait un choix de l'école, il est venu, il prend des degrés, il est maintenant un counselor, il est un double master, et il fait continuer à apprendre, et il a plus de 24 ans dans le domaine mental health counseling et family counseling. Il aide un peu de monde. Nous disons comme ça, pour un travail extraordinaire. Il y a un applaudissement très fort pour Robinson. Amen, gloire à Dieu. Et nous pas de mots pour nous remercier notre bien-aimé frère Vladimir CELUNICE, n'est-ce pas, un avocat qui est haïtien, fait dans l'Amérique. Ça ne veut pas dire boisson. Ou même qui fait dans le pays, ça. Qui a grandi dans le pays, ça. Un jeune garçon, deux jeunes garçons qui levé dans le pays, ça. Pour M. Vladimir, les fait dans l'Amérique, les grandit dans l'Amérique, les choisit pas faire l'autre chemin, il fait vrai chemin à l'école et à very young age. Ici, un avocat, ils sont prosécuteurs, la travail, pas bien pour l'appeler, ils sont prosécuteurs. Ou qu'a fait le tout. Il passe tout le temps à jouer game. Ou acheter game combien $100, $1000. Ou t'as investi côté dans tête tout. Comment vous pouvez jouer game? Combien de chèques vous avez en retour pour jouer game là? Pas rien. Ou t'as pas encore investi dans la connaissance, dans le temps. Pendant que maman là, je dis, elle a payé bill pour dans parole là, la Bible pour t'apprendre telle opportunité pour aller à l'école là. Et même devant avec aujourd'hui, un jeune avocat, un jeune haïtien et pas un blanc. Son haïtien qui prend responsabilité à l'école là. C'est un jeune haïtien, Robinson, qui prend responsabilité à l'école et aujourd'hui, il y a des professionnels là, qui ont servi la communauté, non seulement la communauté haïtienne, mais aussi d'autres communautés. Et je pense que dans le commencement de l'année 2024, là, ça a été un challenge pour vous, jeunes garçons, jeunes filles, qui passent, qui font faire high school, qui continuent à aller dans le club, continuent à aller perdre du temps pour aller à l'école. Bon, deux jeunes garçons, ça comme un exemple. Après, on dormir à soir, tu as fait, lundi matin. Je vois dans un peu BSC, pendant FAU, qui va vouloir aller aujourd'hui. On dit la vie a un sens pour encore, ça va 24 ans, 25 ans. Je ne sais pas d'où l'âge, monsieur, mais bon, jeune petit garçon, il est à l'école à temps, il a pile long journée pour manger comme là. Parce qu'il est un jeune garçon. Ah, on n'est pas fait même ça. Il va faire. Donc, à ce moment-là, c'est un honneur de ensemble avec nous, monsieur FLADIMIR, CELUNICE, n'est-ce pas, un jeune avocat, un jeune prosécuteur, c'est un assistant dans les offices. Et nous avons Robinson, on connaît ses amis, c'est fondateur Koneksyon, n'est-ce pas? Et qui c'est un professionnel dans mental health counseling et family counseling et qui était ensemble avec nous très belle show. Nous avons continué à faire battre ça dans la communauté pour encourager les jeunes garçons, jeunes filles, n'est-ce pas, pour retourner à l'école, mettez profession sur nous. Moi-même, fin grand monde, je viens avec grand monde, je viens avec chay, moi, je viens avec petit moi, je vais faire moi chose à faire. Je vais aller. Je vais un pile là sur tête moi là. Et qui m'a fait rester travailler ça dans le pas là? C'est vous-même qui avez là. Jeunes garçons, jeunes filles. Encouragez-vous. C'est une battre l'école. Après des émissions à soya, battez-on l'autre décision. Battez-on l'autre perspective. Dans 10 prochaines années, qui vous avez mis tête. Dans 15 prochaines années, qui vous avez mis tête. Dans la même situation, ça, la vie a une pitié. Mettez bête sur. Avion plus bon de Dieu. L'école, c'est chemin de succès. Vous devez nous assurer. Qui donne des mots pour personne? Cela prend 10 mots, comme pour le dernier mot pour encourager les jeunes garçons et jeunes filles.
Je pense que vous dites, et vous dites bien, Pasteur Benjamin, et c'est que nous t'ai parlé un petit summary, et de ça nous t'ai parlé, nous t'ai parlé de le fait que nous rendons compte que un pile jeune Simon qui boit ici, et c'est parce que yo ont une vie qui est très confortable parce que parents yo bien grands-parents yo passé en pile misère on prend pour arriver là qui vient faire que yo capable à l'école yo capable faire gros et exploit et dans le pays et que nous parler tout et que côté que yo pas réellement et songer côté au sorti qui vient faire que yo pas réellement give back yo pas là pour parents yo vous comprenez. Et même dans la Bible, pour honorer les parents, on prend pendant ou a grandi, on prend au cas ça a changé dans le niveau, dans ce capable de faire pendant Mario qui a toujours honoré les parents. Et que nous t'ai parlé et le fait que il y a un petit monde qui a un problème et avec la loi, côté que qui a fait mauvaise décision et avocat nous avec nous, monsieur Vladimir CELUNICE, il était parlé le fait que petit monde ça yo pense invincible, yo pas réellement et penser avec conséquences là qu'on est là et que et nous t'ai parlé tout gagner et le fait que tout le monde yo prend et vivre ici comme un bagage qui simple on comprend que yo pas réellement apprécier le fait que y a vivre dans le plus grand pays au monde on comprend qui vient faire que yo pas prend avantage de sa pays pour l'offrir et qui vient faire que un peu fois tout car parents comme si parents étaient passé misère en vain parce que des fois il et comme ça parents qui fait parce que l'autre petit monde dépasser toute misère ça ou être si monde ça lui-même et que ou pas ou pendant dans vingtaine dans grand monde et ou parle toujours supporter et comme si tu passé misère en vain et connaît grand pile parents qui pas réellement veulent rien dans petit monde c'est juste garder petit monde là à progresser faire succès et que c'est ça qui fait joie cœur vous comprenez so to the young people if you want to please your parents, if you want them to be proud of you, I mean, go to school, do find something you can do, to be successful in it, whatever that may be. All right. So it's important to, I said earlier, your parents are gonna be proud of you, no matter what.
Yeah.
But for them to be pleased with your accomplishments, and it's not for them, it's for yourself. Yeah. So c'est exactement ça. Et que dernier mot, et je bâti summary hier, ça qu'on va demander, mais et dernier mot, c'est que c'est pas une dernière fois et n'a gagné pour traiter des sujets comme ça parce que nous sentons que c'est juste surface dans nos scratch là, il y a un pile bagage qui t'a gagné pour parler, mais faute de temps et mais connexion plus pas par aucun côté et n'a là et 2 fois par semaine, jeudi avec vendredi. Et que nous avons gagné pour retourner avec avocat et pour traiter ce genre de sujet. C'est un plaisir pour me avec nous et que c'est toujours un plaisir pour moi avec Famille Koneksyon Plus ça. Nous rendons compte que, j'aime dit tout à l'heure, si pas nous-mêmes, qui regardons nous là, on prend c'est en 20, moi et ma pasteur Benjamin avec toutes les guests nous et qui vont venir avocat nous aujourd'hui, c'est en 20, nous avons travaillé. Mais le fait que nous regardons nous et que nous, ça encourage nous. On prend pour que nous continuions à travailler. En dernier lieu, ça m'a dit merci avec un monde qui t'a posé des questions. Et nous prenons ça très au sérieux lorsqu'on nous pose une question pour nous adresser ça et nous encourager l'autre monde et poser des questions. Et questions, ça monde ça posé là, je suis sûr que un paquet de monde qui était ça passe dans l'esprit, il n'y a pas de fait, mais il est arrivé et joindre une réponse. Merci beaucoup, c'est un plaisir de vous avoir.
Merci for Benson.
I would say thank you again. It was an honor to be here to speak to my community. And as far as the question that was posed to us, I think it'll go back to what we talked about earlier about just humbling yourself. If you're able to humble yourself, you'll be able to understand people a lot better. If you humble yourself to understand that our parents just don't know. They just don't know the right avenues to lead us. So it's up to us to kind of guide their hands as they guide our hands. And I could say that the people that are in the office with me now, their dads were lawyers. The uncles were lawyers. Their dads were police officers. My dad does landscaping. So my dad didn't lead me to become an attorney. My dad just told me to try your best. And the reason why Haitian parents want you to be doctors and lawyers is because they want you to aim high. If you aim high, at least when you're coming down, you'll be able to snatch something that's at a certain level. So it's not that they're forcing you or wanting you to be doctors, lawyers, engineers, architects. They just want you to aim high. And that's really what it is as far as that. But it was a pleasure to be here, and I'll come back up anytime you need me. And thank you for inviting me.
Thank you all for watching Koneksyon Plus tonight. Donc, it's a pleasure for being with you. Et c'est un plaisir de ensemble avec Soya, avec nos bien-aimés frères. Ça me fait un bel applaudissement à bien-aimés frères. Un bel applaudissement. On applaudit Frère Benson et Frère Vladimir, qui est très humble, very humble guy. Donc, very humble Frère Benson et tout monsieur Samka qui est very humble, très humble, malgré le niveau de lever, toujours dans un état qui est humble pour continuer à servir bon Dieu, pour servir la communauté. C'était un plaisir de ensemble avec vous, frère, avec vous, Koneksyon Plus, votre pasteur Raymon Benjamin qui vous dit au revoir, à jeudi prochain, même plateforme ça, à même l'heure, 8h, 9h, pour Koneksyon Plus, en prière. Nous merci pour fidélité à Soya. Merci pour privilège pour nous, pour nous être ensemble, pour nous parler avec la communauté, nous, cher Seigneur, pour nous capables d'encourager les petites grâces, les petites filles, nous, cher Seigneur, capables de mauvaises routes, qui a fait de mauvais choix, qui a conduit dans merci pour tout regarder Koneksyon Plus Soya, soit sur WhatsApp, et dans YouTube, l'Internet, pour faire notre décision, pour faire deux fois, pour la future. Oui, je suis libéré. On va toucher le cœur. Mes péchés sont pardonnés. Vous ne pouvez rien faire. Maintenant je suis sauvé. Béni parce que Enoch béni notre bien-aimé frère, béni l'église de Dieu de First Christian of God de West Palm Beach, Seigneur. Nous savons qui toujours camper ensemble avec nous, Seigneur, dans le travail. Ça, on va bénir pour le nom de Jésus. À toi seul soit la gloire de siècle. Amen. Merci à vous. Que le Seigneur vous bénisse. Bon week-end. On se revoit jeudi prochain. Que Dieu vous bénisse.
Moi, c'est Jean-Enoch Bruni, pasteur de la première église de Dieu de West Palm Beach, First Haitian Church of God of West Palm Beach. Lem la kay moi chaque jeudi et chaque vendredi, commencer 8h pour 9h dans la soirée, c'est Koneksyon plus moi branché. Moi recommander fortement pour capable brancher tout Koneksyon plus avec pasteur Benjamin chaque jeudi et chaque vendredi, sorti 8h pour arriver 9h. Que bon Dieu bénisse.
Non, moi, c'est Nicole Alexis. Moi, sorti New York. Chaque jeudi, chaque vendredi à 8h, 9h, moi branché Koneksyon plus. Koneksyon plus, c'est moi-même, c'est vous-même, c'est lui-même, c'est nous tous.
Moi-même Césaire, depuis jeudi, vendredi 8h arrivé, je vais faire l'autre bagaille que garder Koneksyon plus. C'est chita pour me garder pasteur Benjamin. Koneksyon plus.
Êtes-vous un propriétaire d'entreprise qui fait partie de notre communauté haïtienne dynamique en Floride et dans les Caraïbes? Si tel est le cas, vous avez probablement remarqué à quel point la vidéo devient importante en matière de marketing, de vente et de capture de souvenirs. En fait, l'utilisation de la vidéo est récemment devenue une attente des clients dans le monde entier. Et que vous le sachiez ou non, vous avez une histoire inspirante mais non contée. Votre point de vue unique sur le travail, la vie et tout le reste. Mais avec tout le monde qui crée du contenu en ligne maintenant, il est presque impossible de se démarquer. C'est pourquoi vous avez besoin de Lens Magic de Cajou TV, des services de production